Пропоную не зволікати і розпочати зі вступних слів наших почесних спікерок. Я рада представити пані Марісу Лаго, заступниця міністра торгівлі Сполучених Штатів Америки з питань міжнародної торгівлі. Пані Лаго очолює зусилля федерального уряду, спрямовані на надання підтримки американським компаніям у виході та розширенні на міжнародних ринках. Dear Madam Undersecretary, good morning. We are delighted to welcome you today. And first of all, a massive thank you and the US Department of Commerce team for this amazing initiative aimed at empowering Ukrainian women entrepreneurs to succeed and to grow their business globally. We are extremely grateful to the US government and the US Embassy in Kyiv here for all your support and for everything you do for Ukraine on its path to victory. Over to you.
Thank you, Tatiana, and добрий день to all. On behalf of the U.S. Department of Commerce, welcome to today's webinar, which is the first of many such events that we've planned for Ukrainian entrepreneurs. I am delighted to be joined here today by Ukraine's truly remarkable ambassador to the United States, Oksana Makarova. Her resilience and strength inspire us all. And welcome also to the CEO of AmCham EU, Susan Danger. Susan, your leadership and partnership are absolutely essential to the Europe-wide Empower Her initiative that supports women entrepreneurs. So let me start by reiterating, because it cannot be said frequently enough, the United States' unwavering, unflagging commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. And I'll add, as someone who is married to a Ukrainian American whose family has chosen to remain in Ukraine, for me, this is tremendously personal. I, like so many, marvel at the enduring resilience of Ukraine's troops, but also the patriotic spirit of the Babas and the Pahanis. Know that the Biden-Harris administration will continue to stand with you for as long as it takes. Now, together with our allies, the United States continues to impose unprecedented costs on Putin's war machine, including through the U.S. Department of Commerce's export controls, import bans, and tariffs. We remain eager to support Ukraine and its people and businesses in the wake of the economic devastation caused by Russia's invasion, the rippling consequences of which are felt through every sector of the Ukrainian economy. Know that the U.S. government stands by the Ukrainian business community, and the U.S. government is joined by private sector business people across the United States who are deeply interested in supporting you and your businesses through these difficult times. This is especially true for businesswomen like you. It is a priority of the U.S. Department of Commerce to support women entrepreneurs and to expand opportunities for women and women-owned businesses, not just in the United States, but around the globe. And this especially includes expanding opportunities for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises like those who are represented on the call today. I've had the privilege of seeing firsthand the transformational power of international commerce for launching businesses and strengthening communities. So I applaud and celebrate you for taking the initiative to seek out tools and information to boost your international expansion, including into the US's large and very vibrant market. I hope that today's session will help you to identify opportunities and develop partnerships in the United States. And I also hope and fully expect that you're going to gain a better understanding of the numerous programs, peoples, and agencies across the United States government that can support you. I encourage you to take advantage of this learning opportunity and to ask probing questions of the speakers. Now, out of the destruction of this past year, Ukraine will rebuild and stronger than ever before. And we're eager to continue strengthening commercial relations between the United States and Ukraine. It's businesses like yours that will be driving this trajectory and provide the growth and dynamism to secure Ukraine's future, and with Ukrainian women taking the lead. We believe in you and in your capacity to grow and expand your businesses, which will enrich your families, your communities, your nation. Together with my team, I look forward to working with you to help your companies expand to the United States and forge productive business relations. So, Diaku, and in honor of the season that we're in, let me end by saying, Shachli Voipashki and Christos Voskres.
Thank you very much, Madam Undersecretary. Once again, a huge thank you for everything you do, the U.S. government, the U.S. Embassy team. We appreciate it a lot. And taking this opportunity, I would like to say that MCM and member companies, we plan to be in Washington, D.C. next week for the U.S.-Ukraine Partnership Forum, and looking forward to seeing you and the team in person. Thank you. Ми дуже раді вітати сьогодні Оксану Маркарову, надзвичайного і повноважного посла України в Сполучених Штатах Америки. Оксано Сергіївно, вітання з Києва. Перш за все, ми щиро дякуємо вам і колективу посольства за ваше служіння, за всі ваші зусилля, які докладаєте ви на дипломатичному фронті задля перемоги, за те, що доносите голос нашої держави. І ми розуміємо також надзвичайну важливість міцних економічних зв'язків, особливо зараз на шляху до відбудови. Дуже дякуємо вам за лідерство у цьому напряму. Слово вам.
Дуже дякую, доброго вечора, доброго дня, доброго ранку тим, хто з різних зон до нас приєднується. Один з небагатьох виступів, коли я можу виступити українською мовою, за що окрема подяка. Пані Тетяно, дякую, по-перше, МЧМу за те, що дійсно зібрали на такий дуже важливий вебінар, за те, що він не єдиний чи не останній, а це початок великої серії вебінарів. І, звичайно, величезна подяка Марисі Лаго, яка не тільки за участь в цьому вебінарі, не тільки за допомогу в дуже багатьох питаннях, не тільки за прекрасне жовто-блакитне вбрання, яке Мариса постійно носить тут в Вашингтоні і таким чином підтримує нас навіть на рівні символів, але також і за визначне жіноче лідерство і за підтримку інших жінок. Це дуже важливо, і я хочу з цього якраз почати, що успіх дуже багатьох жінок в тому, що їх підтримують інші жінки. Ми повинні про це особливо в цей час, коли переживаємо таку страшну війну після 8 років війни, яка точилась і в гарячій фазі, і в гібридній фазі. І жінки, на жаль, приймають на себе дуже багато таких питань в цій війні, які відчуваються, мабуть, найбільше, тому що жінка не тільки думає про себе, про свій бізнес, про свою роботу, про дітей, про ком'юніті. Тобто це дуже величезний з одного боку тягар, але з іншого боку українські жінки показали за останні 13 місяців, що ми можемо це зробити. Як кажуть американці, we can do it. І що незалежно від того, чи українські жінки сьогодні на лінії фронту, і ми дуже багато маємо наших посестер, які воюють, деякі, яких ми знаємо, які були разом з нами юристами, фінансистами, економістами, які здивували нас всіх тим, що взяли зброю до рук і захищають наші будинки прямо на лінії фронту. І ті, які взяли на себе додаткові відповідальності, які підхопили бізнеси, які розбудовують місцеве самоврядування, які виховують дітей, тому що інші жінки працюють, і вони стали такими колективними мамами. Я знаю дуже багато таких історій, коли жінки взялись за виховання дуже багатьох дітей-сусідів. І ті, які знаходяться зараз в Європі, і тут в Сполучених Штатах, але ми бачимо, не покладаючи рук, роблять все для того, щоб допомогти Україні. Ви всі важливі, все, що ви робите, дуже важливо. Будь ласка, продовжуйте це робити. І цей вебінар, як серія цих вебінарів, покликаний в першу чергу допомогти вам робити це набагато ефективніше. Тому я дуже рада бачити так багато людей, які зареєструвались на цей вебінар. Будь ласка, задавайте питання, слухайте уважно. І найголовніше після цього вебінару використовуйте в хорошому сенсі Американську торговельну палату, задавайте запитання, отримуйте інформацію. Будь ласка, не соромтесь, використовуйте посольство, ми для цього тут і є. Від системи назовні, яку МЗС розробила, де ви можете зареєструвати будь-які товари, які ви хотіли би, чи послуги, експортувати. І ми підхопимо вашу заявку, і наша економічна секція дуже рада її супроводить, розкаже, зв'яжеться тут до компанії, до програми Select USA, яку Department of Commerce, знову ж таки, разом з Американською торговельною палатою просуває для тих, хто хотів би інвестувати і вийти на американський ринок. І це не обов'язково інвестувати кошти, це питання інвестиції власної енергії, ідей. Америка – величезний ринок, який абсолютно недовикористаний, скажімо так, українським бізнесом. І якраз для жінок-підприємець, я думаю, що Америка розкриває величезні можливості, велику кількість партнерств на регіональному рівні також. Тільки вчора президент Зеленський розмовляв з асоціацією губернаторів, фактично майже з усіма губернаторами, які під'єднались на цей дзвінок. Є дуже багато штатів, які на сьогоднішній день разом з нашою допомогою партнеряться з конкретними областями. Є програма Sister Cities, яка партнерить конкретні міста. Я дуже хотіла би, щоб ми разом з вами запартнерили конкретні бізнеси, конкретних жінок, конкретних підприємець, конкретні школи, конкретні виробництва. Тому незалежно від того, чи ви щось вирощуєте на землі, чи ви IT-фахівчиня і виробляєте якісь продукти, які можуть бути потрібні для IT-індустрії. Чи ви мисткиня, яка робить прекрасні речі, які нам дуже тут потрібні. Ми готові просувати їх і через посольство, і через консульство, і через український дім. Ви все це можете зробити, а ми у всьому цьому можемо вам допомогти. Тому я хотіла би сьогодні вас всіх надихнути. І, звичайно, найчастіше ви чуєте мене, коли я говорю про 3 наших головних пріоритети. Це зброя, санкції для Росії, допомога для України. І це тим, чим зайнято 99% нашого часу. Тому що, звичайно, пріоритет і фокус на все, що допоможе нам допомогти. Але розвиток підприємництва і розвиток жіночого підприємництва – невід'ємна частина як нашої перемоги і швидкого відновлення зараз, так і майбутньої відбудови України, яка, я впевнена, буде мати жіноче обличчя. Тому дякую вам всім за все, що ви робите. Дякую за вашу роботу і за створення продуктів, послуг в Україні. Дякую за те, що надихаєте, куєте цю перемогу. І ваша невтомна робота в Україні надихає нас тут. Якщо ви можете це робити в таких страшних умовах, то ми точно можемо звернути гори тут. Тому успіхів в сьогоднішньому семінарі і дуже сподіваюся, що у нас буде набагато більше запитів після цього вебінару. Дякую.
Дуже дякую вам. Дуже дякую, Оксана Сергіївна. We can do it and let's do it. І дякуємо вам за всі ваші ще раз величезні зусилля. 24/7 на дипломатичному фронті. Чекаємо з нетерпінням зустрічі наступного тижня. Дякуємо. Я надзвичайно рада вітати Сьюзан Дангер, генеральну директорку Американської торговельної палати в ЄС, яка доносить голос американських компаній, відданих Європі в питаннях торгівлі, інвестицій і конкурентоспроможності. Сьюзан відзначена Politico однією з 20 найвпливовіших жінок в Брюсселі у 2016 та 2020 роках і є головою Європейської ради американських торговельних палат, яка об'єднує та представляє інтереси понад 17 тисяч американських і європейських компаній, і яка у травні минулого року підписала Empower Her Declaration. Dear Susan, we're absolutely thrilled to welcome you today and thank you very much for all your support and for this amazing opportunity for our webinar participants.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Tanya. I'm so sorry I couldn't understand the previous speaker, but I am thrilled. Apologies for my Ukrainian or lack of Ukrainian, but it's a real honor to be with you today, both with you, Ambassador Markarova, and also, of course, with Undersecretary Largo. It's a privilege to be on the screen again with you. And thanks to you, Undersecretary, for your leadership on Empower Her. So indeed, for those of you who've not met me before, I'm Susan Danger. I'm here today wearing 2 hats. My hat today, I am both the CEO of the American Chamber of Commerce to the EU. I'm sitting here in Brussels. And I'm also the chair of the AmChams in Europe network, otherwise known as ACE, ACE. But before I go into that, I want to just begin, if I may, Tanya, with an acknowledgement of all of you who are joining us today and what you've endured over the past year. And I want to say on behalf of both the ACE network and AmCham-EU, how much we see and affirm the absolute courage and strength that you and your communities have shown in the face of Russia's unlawful invasion of Ukraine. You know we have spoken out on this, Tanya, and we continue to do so. Absolutely, the resilience that you have shown in growing your businesses and looking to the future, I believe truly gives us hope that there are brighter days ahead. So we have to hope that. So please note that we are standing in solidarity with you and all the people of Ukraine. And I would specifically like to acknowledge all that AmCham Ukraine itself has accomplished in the last year. In spite of the war, I'm in absolute awe of you, Tatiana, and also of Andy and your leadership during these difficult times. And we're very proud to partner with you and your staff on events, particularly on events like this. So with that, and in that same spirit of solidarity and cooperation, that is absolutely the foundation of the AmChams in Europe network. It was founded back in 1963. Today, it's the umbrella organization for 46 American chambers of commerce from 44 countries throughout both Europe and Eurasia, importantly. And we work together to amplify our messages since that year, with a bilateral voice of American and European companies, and we work to communicate the importance of the transatlantic economy in both Europe and in the United States. We represent the interests of more than 17,000 American and European, so that includes Ukrainian because it's Europe and Eurasia. Those companies employ more than 20 million workers, which accounts for more than $1.1 trillion in investment on both sides of the Atlantic. And I have the pleasure of working with many of those companies in my dual role as CEO and as chair of ACE. As AmCham EU, though, I want to say, because this leads us into the theme of today, our primary objectives are to build a strong and united Europe, and which is very important in today's world, and also to maintain and strengthen the transatlantic relationship. Now, achieving those goals requires cooperation amongst a diverse range of policymakers, business leaders, and stakeholders on both sides of the Atlantic. And one of our most steadfast partners is, of course, the US Department of Commerce. What unites us all is our commitment to those shared values of democracy, rule of law, and respect for human dignity. The Empower Her initiative has grown out of those principles. And I don't need to tell anyone on this webinar how important it is to promote women's advancement, especially in international trade. Let me give you one example. It is proven that companies with greater gender diversity are 15% more likely to see higher financial returns. So diversity is good for business, women's leadership is good for business, and it's the right thing to do. However, women make up only a fraction of corporate leadership. A mere 8.8% of all Fortune 500 companies have women as their CEOs, and women represent only 5.4% of all CEOs globally. And as a mother of two girls, I do have a boy as well, but I have two girls, this topic is really close to my heart, and it's not much of an example to them. We can do better, and this is the status quo that Empower Her wants to shake up. So indeed, with leadership from US Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo, the Department of Commerce, ACE, and AmCham EU created this joint initiative back in March 2022 to bolster women's economic empowerment, equality, and entrepreneurship, which I know you're going to be discussing later, within our communities in both Europe and the US. And a key part of that initiative is having companies and AmChams in the network sign a declaration of support to symbolize their commitment to advancing women's equality. And I'm very proud to say, actually, that in just 12 months, we've reached our goal of signatures now from more than 100 unique companies and 36 AmChams in that network. It's fabulous. But we couldn't have done it without that cooperation and coordination with everyone. But this program is not just about signing a declaration, it's about action. Companies that sign promote leadership development for women, opportunities for women, where they work to reduce the gender pay gaps. They share best practices in advancing equality initiatives, and they amplify the importance of diversity in the workplace, which is exactly what we're going to be doing today. And it's really thrilling to see so many also of our sister AmChams from different regions embrace this initiative and devote time to this important topic. Let me just give you a couple of examples. Last year, AmCham hosted many events on topics such as entrepreneurship, sustainable fashion design, industrial upcycling, sustainable finance, and more. And these have taken place all over Europe and Eurasia, from Azerbaijan, Germany, Ireland, Turkey, Serbia, as well as a great event at which Undersecretary Marisa Lago was there just back on the 8th of March for International Women's Day. Thank you, Undersecretary, across the entirety for International Women's Day. But it's not just one day. So with that, I just want to say that AmCham Empower Her's ideals unite the public and private sector working towards that same goal, demonstrating shared values, the same values that Ukraine is fighting for every day. And the program has to have tangible impact by gathering together those best practices, opportunities, and resources. Again, what you're going to be doing today. So no matter what the corner of the world you're in this afternoon, and probably mostly Ukraine, all of you gathered are part of this powerful network. We want you to succeed in expanding to the United States. We're here to support you in that journey. I'm very happy to support you too. Our doors are open. Our resources are at your disposal. And finally, just to say some takeaways I thought would be useful from that International Women's Day with Undersecretary Marisa Lago, some sound bites to share with you today. I leave you with this. 1, all women should aim high. 2, embrace failure as an experience that will strengthen you. And 3, and finally, look out for other women. Look out for other women. Remember, every day is Women's Day. That's our future. And with that, it's my pleasure to hand back to you, Tatiana, who's moderating today's panel. I wish you all the best for the rest of the event. Thank you very much.
Susan, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you very much for all your great personal support and our AmChams, fellow AmChams, for all the solidarity. Please pass our best regards to AmCham EU team and hope to see you in May. So once again, dear Madam Undersecretary Oksana Sergeyevna Susan, thank you very much for your leadership. Thank you very much for your inspiration. And we are getting ready to the first part of our webinar. Thank you very much. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I have a quick announcement. We have simultaneous translation during the event. If you need translation from Ukrainian to English, please choose the globe icon and press English. Якщо вам потрібен переклад з англійської на українську, будь ласка, натисніть іконку з глобусом і оберіть українську мову. So, let's continue. Переходимо до першої частини нашого вебінару «Інструменти для розширення бізнесу в Сполучених Штатах». І я дуже рада вітати нашу першу спікерку Юстина Свіка, старша спеціалістка з міжнародної торгівлі програма Summit, Міністерство торгівлі Сполучених Штатів. Юстина має досвід роботи в міністерстві майже 15 років і була залучена до створення програм для делегацій найвищого рівня. Dear Justina, we are absolutely delighted to welcome you here with us, and we can't wait to learn more from you about Summit program and what are the opportunities and how female entrepreneurs can benefit, can get engaged and can benefit. Over to you. Unfortunately, I can't hear Justina.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you, Tatiana, for the opportunity to present today, and thank you to the organizers for inviting me. It's really a true honor to be a part of this distinguished panel. My name is Justina Svika, and I'm with the SABIT program, which is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce. So next slide, please. And here's my contact info for the future. Next slide. All right, so one slide back, please. Perfect. Sorry, the slide with it, perfect, this one. So the SABIT program was founded in 1990. It's a technical assistance program for countries in transition, and we arrange industry-specific US-based training for professionals from Eurasia and South Asia and other regions as well. Next slide, please. A little bit about our delegations. There are usually 18 to 20 people, and we usually plan 8 to 12 delegations a year, sometimes more, all across different industries. The delegations travel to the United States, usually for 2-week programs, and they meet with the federal, state, and local government, industry associations, academia, private companies, and they usually attend a very large industry trade show, excuse me. All right, next slide, please. Just some of the highlights from our program. So in over our 30-year history, we've trained over 7,000 professionals, and actually a very large number of them are from Ukraine, 1,300 professionals from Ukraine. So we have a very large network in Ukraine. What we are seeing is that more and more women apply and participate. And what the participants do is, they meet one another, they meet with other professionals in the region, in their countries. And so during the course of the program, they learn about best practices from U.S. companies. They end up partnering with some of the U.S. companies on projects. They end up purchasing equipment or services from U.S. companies. So it's very, very useful and very practical as well. And then just to highlight for commerce people, our program has helped facilitate $1.4 billion in U.S. exports. So we're very happy about facilitating those partnerships. All right, next slide, please. And here's just a list of some of our past programs. I won't read all of them. This is just a selection. We've done more programs, of course, but these are just some of the more topical ones. For example, healthcare, agribusiness, economic development, energy efficiency, which is now more focused on clean energy, airport development, of course. We just finished a supply chain management program from Eurasia, and that program left about 2 weeks ago. All right, next slide, please. And just a highlight of the programs we've done so far this year. We've done fiscal year. We've got a cold chain program, supply chain. We have a waste management program that's coming to the U.S. in about 2 weeks. And then in the fall, and for the people on the call with us, please watch out for this. We're going to have a food processing and packaging program. We'll have an application coming up, so that's something to look out for. We might also do a clean energy program, but that is TBD. So next slide, please. And just a word, we've very much focus on women entrepreneurs, and in many of the industries we see a lot of women entrepreneurs who are very strong in their industry. There is a growing number of women participants, and Sabit takes care to help arrange special sessions at trade shows that are focused on women leaders. We also arrange special webinars for women leaders. We've done that during the COVID time, of course. And the connections that women on the program experience with one another are real and valued. So it's a real connection. Next slide, please. All right, and the next couple of slides will go a little bit quickly, but just want to highlight some photos. Of course, kind of seeing is believing, I guess. So here's a photo from our last delegation. It was supply chain. The program had half women, half men. And here is all the women that were on the program, and they were attending a special session for women leaders at ProMat, which is a very, very large supply chain trade show in Chicago. Next slide. Here's a quote from one of them, basically saying how valuable the experience was and how they're already planning to work together. So here's the delegation from that program. Next slide. Here's another photo. Next slide, please. Here's the group. The whole group was visiting a logistics facility in Baltimore. Next slide. Again, so all sorts of programs. Cold chain, the one on the bottom, it was a very interesting program where we took a regional economic development program to meet with the Navajo Nation. It was just wonderful, a great exchange of information and ideas. And here we are on Navajo Nation land in New Mexico. Next slide, please. Of course, healthcare. Here we are meeting at Medtronic Global Headquarters in Minnesota. Next slide. Touring a hospital facility. Next slide. Some of the photos of the connections made. It's really wonderful to see this happening firsthand. Next slide. Here our program was visiting a fruit and vegetable processor in Michigan. Next slide. This is a very large airport equipment, snow removal facility, manufacturing facility. Next slide. A specialty popcorn manufacturer. Next slide. Specialty chocolate manufacturer. Next slide. Dairy program. This is really out in the middle of Wisconsin. This facility had a huge farm. It was fascinating, and on the bottom you can see all the medals that they won, so it was just great. On the right is a meeting with the University of Wisconsin with their dairy program. Next slide.
It's fascinating. It looks absolutely fascinating, Justina.
Great. And then this is a photo of the last group from last year. And I've already seen that they are connected. They are working together. They're collaborating. They're meeting at different trade shows in Europe, and staying in touch. Next slide, please. And then this is a good photo. Of course, we have our Undersecretary Marissa Lago here, but to highlight that we also keep in touch with our program alumni, and we arrange in-country trainings, meetings, events. So here our Undersecretary was meeting with several Sabbath program alumni, the past participants, at one of the facilities that is owned by one of our past alumni, a Restaurant Association alumni from 2015. And yeah, it just sounds like this was a great meeting. We also have done many trainings and meetings in Ukraine over the years. So we brought experts, people from Department of Energy, so all sorts of connections that we maintain with our alumni. Next slide, please.
Justina, a massive thank you for all your support, and we do believe that you will have more alumni from Ukraine. And I think that we will have also opportunity to allow meeting participants to ask some practical questions during Q&A session.
Perfect. And then the last few slides were just how to apply. And so, if you received a copy of the presentation, you can look in the link. It just has information on how to move forward. So yeah, then maybe you can just go through the last few slides. Yeah, here's who we look for: senior level participants, senior level managers. The next slide. And the selection process, of course, there's an online application. Next slide. And yeah, just it's very competitive. So if you don't get in the first time, please continue to apply. And the last slide is our contact information. So thank you so much again. And I hope from the attendees, we got some interest. So we are looking forward to seeing your applications. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Justina. Thank you for your insightful presentation. Colleagues, moving on, because I do understand that we are running a little bit of time. And зараз я вам щаслива представити нашу наступну спікерку, пані Стефані Ротман, інвестиційну консультантку, портфельну менеджерку Select USA, Європа та Євразія. Dear Stephanie, we are delighted and thrilled to welcome you today and explore together what are the opportunities offered by Select USA for female entrepreneurs.
Thank you. I think this is the wrong presentation, though.
I think that it is USAID presentation to be delivered by Tatiana. Anastasia, if you, it's like USAID. Meanwhile, while we're checking for the presentation, we know that there is a big delegation from Ukraine will be this year. So we are getting excited. So here we are.
Absolutely thrilled to welcome the delegation from Ukraine to the Select USA Investment Summit. Thank you so much for the time. I'll try to be quick. I'm Stephanie Rothman. I am the Select USA Ukraine and Eurasia Portfolio Manager. Select USA is a part of the U.S. Department of Commerce that supports international businesses looking to expand to the United States. And we offer a wealth of free resources and research throughout the year. So I and my colleagues at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv are very, very pleased to work with you throughout the year to help answer your questions about expanding to the United States. Next slide, please. Next slide. Our focus is to be a geographically neutral resource to help your business expand to the US to find the right location. We do that through a few different ways. We offer research reports, and our investor guide is the first and foremost resource that's available online that is sort of like a checklist and 101 of how to expand to the United States. What do you need to consider? We know that it's a very complicated region and we want to make this as easy as possible for you. So this is the first great tool and resource we have available. Next slide. And our team is available to have counseling sessions and to walk you through and understand your business goals and what you're looking to achieve in the US. And with that, we also offer a few different services navigating the federal system. So if your business is facing any issues with different federal agencies, we're happy to connect you with whether it's the Food and Drink Administration or Small Business Association, Department of Energy, whatever it might be. We work with 20 different federal agencies. We also offer complimentary FDI fact sheets on a number of different industries and sectors. You can see an example here. We walk through the different clusters of which states might be the best for you to expand, which states have the highest number of specialized teams or specialized industries that might match with your business. We also offer market data reports on a number of different topics and sectors. And again, the best way to find out about these is on our website, as well as connecting with us to learn more about your business and what we have available. We also offer research and locations reports. Again, Select USA is geographic neutral. We're not here to sell you on one state or another, but we really want to help you find the best location for your business, whether it's understanding industry clusters, workforce and wages, different incentives and opportunities across the US. You can see information here, as well as we're here to connect you to the different US states. We call those economic development organizations, so that you can have conversations with those states and understand where could be the best place to operate and open your business. Next slide, please. While there's a number of different counseling opportunities and research reports, I also wanted to spend a quick minute to discuss the Select USA Investment Summit. We are beyond thrilled to welcome a great delegation of Ukrainian startups to the Select USA Investment Summit this year. Right now we're expecting about 20 or so, and there's plenty of room if you're interested to attend. The Select USA Investment Summit is the keystone program that brings together all of the different industry players from the United States to help you expand your business. Next slide, please. Each year, or last year, we had actually 3,600 participants, over 1,400 from over 70 markets around the world. The program offers different industry spotlights, whether it's on manufacturing, automotive, technology. We have high-level speakers throughout the program and tailored workshops, how to expand your business, again, different kinds of incentives. It takes that investor guide that I showed in the first slide, and we offer actionable kind of working sessions on some of those major key topics when you're expanding your business. We'll also have a virtual networking platform, an entire program for our tech programming called Select USA Tech. Next slide, please. Lots of networking. We can read more about this later, but tons and tons of opportunities for networking. We'll have a fantastic Ukraine tech event as well. Please reach out. We're happy to kind of walk through the details of some of the programming, but who can you expect to network with? US state and economic offices, government officials, service providers, tech startups, tech partners, so VCs, accelerators, incubators, really all of the different kind of resources to help you scale and expand. Next slide, please. Our tech program, next slide please, really is here to help founders of startups find the right resources to, again, find the right locations. We have a few different resources for startups or programming for startups. We have pitching sessions. We'll have a Ukrainian startup pitching at one of our regional sessions, which we held in the last couple of weeks. And then we'll also have a tech pavilion where you can exhibit your product or service. We have academy sessions, so there's informational sessions on soft landing programs, on scaling your startup, financing and fundraising. And then we also have exclusive programming, which I'm beyond thrilled to share for women in tech. We'll have a peer-to-peer session, which is still open for registrations. Next slide, please. And then I'm also really thrilled to speak a little bit more about our Select Global Women in Tech Mentorship Program. This program was launched about 3 years ago by Secretary Raimondo and is something that our administration is extremely passionate about. It's a 6-month program where women in tech can be partnered with a US-based mentor who can be someone from a US VC, accelerator, incubator, someone who's really dedicated to supporting female founders expanding into the United States. There's no additional cost to participate. We have a very special rate for all Ukrainian businesses interested in attending the Select USA Investment Summit. So please reach out if you're interested. Again, the mentorship program has no additional cost. It's a part of the Select USA Investment Summit program. It'll partner you for 6 months with your mentor, and then also provide special programming throughout the year, as well as access to, of course, the rest of our services and counseling. So really thrilled to share this opportunity. We've had some really great successes and really great feedback on being able to mentor our international founders with a US-based mentor. Next slide, please. Here are my contact details. Please do reach out, and we really hope to see some of you at the Select USA Investment Summit, as well as stay in touch with us throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. We'll definitely do, and we do hope that the next year the delegation will include our today's participants. Thank you very much. Колеги, рухаємося далі. Я з задоволенням хочу представити Тетяну Грищенко, заступницю керівника проекту USAID «Конкурентоспроможна економіка». Тетяна, прошу, слово вам.
Дякую дуже. Вітаю всіх учасників. Прошу вивести мою презентацію на екран. Дякую дуже організаторам за можливість взяти участь сьогодні в цьому чудовому, дійсно надзвичайно інформативному заході і за можливість презентувати нашу програму і наші можливості з підтримки малого та середнього бізнесу. Наступний слайд, будь ласка. Next slide, please. Декілька слів про нашу програму. Ми фінансуємося USAID, Агенцією США з міжнародного розвитку. Програма почалась в жовтні 2018 року і буквально нещодавно її продовжили до жовтня 2025. І нам збільшили значно бюджет, тобто наш бюджет зараз складає $90 мільйонів США з досить вагомим грантовим компонентом. Наша основна мета – допомогти українським малим та середнім підприємствам і стартапам стати якомога більш конкурентоспроможними на українському ринку і на зовнішніх ринках. І ми робимо це за допомогою цілої низки активностей і ініціатив. Next slide, please. Ми надаємо гранти компаніям, ми надаємо гранти різноманітним організаціям, які підтримують бізнес. Це можуть бути секторальні асоціації, регіональні торгово-промислові палати, інші громадські організації, тобто всі ті організації, які допомагають бізнесу продовжити свою діяльність. Ми працюємо з урядом на національному рівні, на місцевому рівнях, допомагаємо уряду впроваджувати цілу низку реформ, в тому числі ті реформи, що пов'язані з покращенням регуляторного середовища, пов'язані з торгівлею і інвестиціями. У нас дуже багато різноманітних консультаційних можливостей, ми займаємося інкубацією, акселерацією стартапів. Також ми багато уваги приділяємо участі українських компаній на різноманітних торгових виставках і поїздках з торговими місіями до різних країн світу. І я можу сказати, що я надзвичайно рада виступати зараз після Стефані, тому що ми буквально минулого тижня відібрали 8 найкращих стартапів, які стануть частинкою цієї великої української делегації на Select USA цього року. Також я дуже рада, що 2 спікери, які будуть виступати після мене, пані Анастасія з Москітер і пан Артем з Касоне, також є учасниками тих активностей, які підтримувала наша програма «Конкурентоспроможна економіка України» в минулому. Москітер – це випускник інкубатора, який підтримувався нашою програмою кілька років поспіль, і Касоне взяв участь в консультаційній програмі On Frontiers, яка надавала доступ до надзвичайно великої кількості консультацій з міжнародними експертами. Можна наступний слайд, будь ласка. Next slide, please. Дякую. Ми багато працюємо саме з жіночим бізнесом. Ви бачите цифри на цьому слайді. З жовтня 2018 року, тобто з початку нашої роботи, ми вже підтримали більше 1000 саме жіночих бізнесів, жінок-підприємець. І ці бізнеси за нашої підтримки згенерували більше 20 мільйонів доларів США в продажах. Також ми підтримали майже 2000 створення нових робочих місць для жінок. Next slide, please. З лютого минулого року, з початку повномасштабної агресії проти нашої держави, ми не зупинялися ні на жоден день. Ми трішки змінили нашу діяльність на певний час, і от декілька таких найскладніших місяців з лютого минулого року ми були сконцентровані на активностях, які ми назвали ініціативи швидкого реагування або негайного реагування. Деякі з таких ініціатив фокусувалися на підтримки релокації бізнесу і, зокрема, саме для жіночих бізнесів, жінок-підприємець, які хотіли релокуватися з таких важких регіонів, як Харків або Буча. Ми допомогли зі створенням 2 хабів, один в Тернополі, інший у Львові, і ми надали фінансову підтримку таким бізнесам для релокації, для оренди приміщень. Next slide, please. З багатьма нашими підприємцями, грантерками в нас така вже тривала історія співпраці, яка почалася ще до початку повномасштабного вторгнення і яка триває по сьогодні. І я хочу навести буквально декілька прикладів таких жіночих бізнесів, з якими ми працюємо. Бачите на слайді Черешнівська, дуже цікавий фешн-бренд. Ми допомогли їм з придбанням за грантові кошти обладнання, а також підтримали їхню участь в декількох торгових місіях. Вони взяли участь в тижнях моди в Нью-Йорку та Парижі. Next slide, please. Компанія Грегорі шиють уніформу для готелів і ресторанів. І до лютого 2022 року вони отримали від нашої програми грант для придбання обладнання для шиття, а в березні 2022 року ми вже підтримали їх з тим, що вони змінили фокус своєї діяльності на певний час і замість таких гарних готельних уніформ почали шити теплий одяг для внутрішньо переміщених осіб. Next slide, please. Ще один приклад, виробник косметики «Весна», можливо, знаєте їх, вони знаходилися в Бучі, обладнали за нашої підтримки найновітнішу лабораторію, буквально за декілька тижнів закінчили це обладнання до 24 лютого минулого року. Лабораторія дуже сильно постраждала, обладнання постраждало, але за нашої підтримки змогли релокуватися до Львову. Зараз обладнали наново лабораторію, отримують сертифікацію для того, щоб мати можливість продавати свої товари, спочатку на ринок ЄС, далі на інші ринки. Next slide, please. Тож зараз ми маємо одну відкриту грантову програму. Це грантова програма для підтримки відновлення та безперервності бізнесу. Вона відкрита до кінця липня 2023 року. Її сума поки що $1 мільйон США загальна сума, але ми думаємо над збільшенням цієї суми, бо ми бачимо надзвичайно великий попит на наші грантові можливості. Тут бачите лінк або QR-код, можете скачати для того, щоб потрапити на сторінку, де ви отримаєте всю детальну інформацію щодо того, як податися. Заявка досить проста. Відразу скажу, що ми надаємо гранти від 600 тисяч гривень до 1 200 000 гривень. Плануємо інші грантові програми, такий маленький інсайт. Буквально наступного тижня плануємо запустити грантову програму для жіночих бізнесів, тому підписуйтесь на нашу сторінку на Фейсбуці і LinkedIn для того, щоб бути першими, хто дізнається про наші нові грантові можливості. Next slide, please. Щодо підтримки саме експорту, ми організували 26 торгових місій тільки за період з початку повномасштабного вторгнення. І це надзвичайно велика цифра. Ми раніше такої кількості торгових місій, торгових виставок за рік не робили. Більше ніж 250 компаній змогли скористатися нашою підтримкою для того, щоб відвідати ті чи інші виставки або поїхати з торговою місією. Сектори, з якими ми працюємо, надзвичайно різноманітні. Це і виробники меблів, і продукції харчування, фешн-бренди, машинобудування, компанії з креативних індустрій, зокрема фільми, аудіовізуальна продукція, мультфільми, винороби. Цього року перший раз ми підтримали делегацію виноробів на Провайні. Next slide, please.
Тетяно, ми вам надзвичайно вдячні за всю підтримку, яку надає команда USAID. Велике дякуємо вам.
Дякую. Якщо ми говоримо конкретно про підтримку торгівлі з Сполученими Штатами Америки, з цієї цифри 26 торгових місій, 11 з них це були місії і виставки в США. Зокрема, для виробників меблів, продукції харчування і стартапи. Ви допомогли їм відвідати такі заходи, як TechCrunch Disrupt, High Point Furniture Market, Las Vegas Furniture Market, Las Vegas Fancy Food, Consumer Electronics Show, 6XW, Startup Grind і так далі. Також ми реалізуємо консультаційні ініціативи. В грудні приїжджав за нашої підтримки дуже досвідчений експерт, який відвідав 11 виробників меблів в низці регіонів. Він оцінив їхню експортну спроможність і надав рекомендації, дуже практичні прикладні рекомендації, що їм зробити так, щоб мати можливість краще продавати саме на ринок Сполучених Штатів. І знов-таки інсайт, скоро плануємо відкрити подібну ініціативу для виробників продукції харчування, тому підписуйтесь на наші сторінки і дізнавайтесь більше про наші можливості. Від мене все. Ще раз дуже дякую за можливість взяти участь сьогодні, розказати про нас, і буду рада відповісти на ваші питання під час Q&A-сесії.
Так, Тетяно, дуже дякуємо вам. І я так дивлюся, що наступного разу ми будемо з кожним спікером робити окрему дискусію, тому що дійсно маса цікавої інформації. Величезне дякую. І я зараз рада представити нашого наступного спікера, Benedict Berlman, генеральний директор з розширення ЄС, компанії Amazon. Dear Benedict, we are absolutely delighted to welcome you here with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for having me. I'm very humbled and thankful to be here today. My name is Benedict Berlman. I'm leading our emerging marketplaces in Europe for Amazon, as well as supporting all sellers in countries where we don't operate an Amazon store yet, like the Ukraine. Last year, after the horrible events, I was very encouraged to see that many colleagues in Amazon stepped in to support. We had our Amazon Web Services helping on the next slide to support public institutions, but also private businesses to safeguard data. We had donations, financial aids, some things we could do to help a little bit. Today, I like to talk about how you as an entrepreneur can potentially benefit from the selling on Amazon opportunity. So what is our mission in Amazon Marketplace? On the next slide, you see that it's in the end empowering selling partners, small and medium-sized businesses to sell online. And our vision is to enable small businesses of any size really, to sell anything they like to any customer worldwide, and providing their infrastructure, the platform, the services they might need to be successful in many, many, many countries. We are very encouraged with many of the results. You'll see on the next slide that you can, as a seller on Amazon, sell to more than 200 countries. We have 185,000 small and medium-sized businesses active selling on Amazon, reaching more than 300 million customers. More than $12 billion of export sales were created by selling partners just from the EU. Many of our selling partners sell globally, really use this opportunity, and we want to make it as easy as possible, even for one-person entrepreneur, to use the opportunity to sell to all customers worldwide through Amazon, hopefully benefiting from our logistics, our tools, our services, and training entrepreneurs to fully use those services. For me personally, one of the biggest and nicest things is if I see small businesses succeed. I have one example on the next slide of a small company from Poland who started recently on Amazon and then very quickly started to selling so outside of Poland, selling to many customers across Europe and even more. How can we help you to achieve that? I wrote you a couple of points I feel might be interesting for hopefully some of you. The first thing that makes selling on Amazon relatively easy is for Europe, you only need one account. You can register, for example, on sell.amazon.pl and have then an account to sell everywhere in Europe. And this one account will give you access to all the tools you will need to manage your orders or to support shipping, learn about the customers who are buying your products, advertise your products, and also expand to even more countries with automated translations if you wish to more stores so that you can reach to audience. What you can also benefit from on the next slide are our fulfillment services, if you like. One of our big success for many fulfillment by Amazon. So if you are not super equipped or skilled in shipping products across Europe, that might be a good solution for you. It's especially designed for smaller companies where you basically inbound into one fulfillment center. Amazon takes care of the rest, packs and ships the products, delivers it with great speed to your customers, and you can in this way make it available to many customers across Europe. If you like, also Amazon can take over customer service for some of the countries. So if you are not fluent in all European languages, we might also be able to help with that so that you can offer a very good customer experience while sending from your home country. Hopefully, all those services are open to all our small and medium-sized businesses. For Ukraine, in the current situation, we wanted to do more. So one thing we have earned last year, to my knowledge, the very first time in Amazon, for all Ukraine-based businesses selling on Amazon, there are no referral fees at all. So we completely waived all referral fees to sell within Europe on Amazon stores. We are also very lucky to have a big team of Ukraine colleagues in my Polish team. Who obviously speak Ukraine. So if you are in the need or would benefit from an account manager who can support you discussing how to export to different countries, how to use the services, if there are language barriers, those colleagues are there to help. So that is something we also offer exclusively. Usually, Amazon believes very strong in self-service, for good reasons. But in this situation, we also want to provide account manager for everyone who is interested in. So you see an email address here in case that is something you like to discuss, something you might be interested in. Just reach out to the team, and we are very happy to help. If you want to go even beyond Europe, of course, Amazon also operates a pretty significant store in the US. And as a seller, you can absolutely also sell in our likely biggest marketplace. It's an own account, but we can also help with that, setting up a seller account for the US. Many services are also there available, including logistics services, if you are interested in that. And then you can sell basically everywhere to the US, Canada, and also Mexico. So that was as a small teaser for what we can do for small and medium-sized businesses, and especially Ukraine entrepreneurs. If you are interested, please don't hesitate to reach out to my teams or myself, and we are very happy to support. Thank you again very much for having me, and wish you a great rest of the webinar.
Benedict, thank you very much, first of all, for everything you and the entire Amazon team do for Ukraine and Ukrainian people. We appreciate it a lot, and thank you very much for your presentation and sharing like practical tools, what to do and how better to apply. Thank you very much. Колеги, хочу ще раз зазначити, тому що в чаті ми подивились питання, що по відео сьогоднішнього запису ми обов'язково поділимось відео з презентаціями з усіма учасницями. Також інформація буде опублікована на сайті Американської торгівельної палати в Україні. А зараз переходимо до надзвичайно цікавої частини Case Study. І я рада запросити до презентації Анастасію Романову, CEO та засновниці Mosquito. Анастасія, слово вам.
Так, зараз чутно, так?
Чути, так.
Так, дуже дякую. I will switch probably to English today. So this is a great honor and pleasure being here with you today. I'm really grateful for AmCham Ukraine and US Department of Commerce for organizing such type of initiatives for women entrepreneurs. Being a women-founded startup, I truly understand how precious such platforms and the access to this information. And so my name is Anastasia. I'm CEO and founder at Mosquito, and we are developing engineering company to develop innovative and ecological solutions for pest insect control. Our story began back in 2018 when I'm expecting my first baby, got with mosquito problem in Florida, and there was Zika outbreak, and it was astonishment at what methods were used to face the problem. So the spraying of chemicals throughout the city caused swiping from the ocean the dead fish, and that was a great astonishment for me. Therefore, I'm coming up to the first point that identifying a big problem worth solving is something that is very important for the start. And we got in our problem solving much beyond than just mosquitoes, and it is chemicals overusage worldwide that causes and is responsible, along with other threats, to climate change that is urgency worldwide now. Lots of organizations as the United Nations, G7, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Soros Foundation, to name a few, are urgent in this type of problem now. And in our steps with Mosquito, we address this problem with solutions bringing to the market. In 2019, we started our route being the participants of AO Business Incubators. Thank you, Tatiana, for mentioning us today. It was supported by USAID, and it was a great experience for us. From this program, we got lots of knowledge: how to pitch, how to precisely describe your problem, how to tell about what you are doing and why. Most importantly, we got great mentorship from experienced US business people. We learned how to talk to users, and very important that we should start early and talk to our users as soon as it is possible, so that to get first feedback on the market. And this brought us in 2020 to Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, where we presented our first Mosquito. We ended up with over 500 interviews and almost a dozen of engagements to start the cooperation with our partners. We started right away, and it got a really great experience for us to validate the idea, to get the real users, and to get the real feedback. So first, very important to start as soon as it is possible. It saves your resources, and it gives you precious feedback from the real users. And in 2 months timeline, COVID came in our lives, and our roller coaster journey began. So as any company, reaching product market fit is very important milestone in what we are doing. In this phase, it is very important to get as much iterations as you can, so you understand what works and why something is not working. And failing quickly, again, it saves your resources, and while you are small, it is comparatively easy to do all those iterations in your and during your journey. Retrospectively, I understand how precious for us was to do so many experiments, and I urge everyone to try as much as you can. In 2021, we started our manufacturing sport license model in India, and since then we spread our technology to Africa, Europe, and 1 week ago we launched our South American market, Brazil in particular for manufacturing. So we always keep focus on the metrics and what we are doing. Now already installed over 800 technologies in different areas, and we understand what impact we do with our machines. It's decreasing the chemicals usage in each specific territory and switching to more ecological solutions. And that's why keeping focus on metrics gives you opportunity to keep focus on how you're growing and if it is efficient. In 2022, it brought us to the US market, and now we really appreciate all those support that we are getting from the entire ecosystem. Now Ukrainians are spread it throughout the world, and mentorship is very, very important. I've been a participant also, as Stephanie mentioned, Select Global Women program, and it is very, very precious tool that I'm using till now, and I'm in contact with my mentor for all the time. They help you to prioritize on the market. They help to understand you the market, and you should listen to advice carefully, watch to other women, and move forward. There are many programs, and I urge all the women to use those. And for Mosquito, from the first day, was a partnership-oriented company, and we always try to share our news with the government, and it is very precious for us to be invited also to the possibilities to look for new markets, and this gave us opportunity to join the mission of Ministry of Foreign Affairs to Africa and to present Mosquito to the new market. And to search for the reliable partners. Without the team, it is impossible, and it is very important having shared sense of mission. That's what I have with our CEO, Olga, and she's essential part of this journey and our women-founded startup, as well as our great engineering team and advisors who help us to build this hardware. So what keeps us up all the time is introducing the new culture of ecological protection from pest insects, and it's important to have this mission there. Given this our knowledge so far, I would be greatly happy to share international markets launch experience, hardware development path, and patenting strategies. And please reach me out to get those information, and I'm always very, very happy to share. I'm again very grateful for such platforms to give the opportunities to share this information. I'm especially grateful for Ambassador, for Undersecretary to join us today on the session, and we in Mosquito, we always look for such support, and I'm sure such support is precious for all the participants who are to start on the new markets. And thank you again. Please let us keep in touch and stand with Ukraine. Thank you.
Абсолютно, Анастасія, величезно вам дякуємо. Якраз під час вашої презентації розумієш, яким чином дуже важливо мати інформацію про програми, яким чином це допомагає розвивати бізнес. І говорячи про кейс-стадії і практичний досвід, я раз запросити до слова Артема Палютіна, директора з розвитку Касоне, меблі для готелів, офісів, магазинів, ресторанів та барів. Артема, слово вам.
Вітаю всіх. Дуже вдячний за те, що запросили до такої поважної аудиторії. Коротко розкажу про нашу компанію. Це український виробник меблів. Ми почали свою діяльність у 2013 році. Я в компанії з 2018 року і займаюсь сьогодні, фокусую свої зусилля на експорту, на розвитку зовнішніх ринків. Декілька років тому в нас відкрився ринок Сполучених Штатів. До цього у нас були експортні контракти в 15 різних країн, переважно це Європейський Союз. Але декілька років, якраз напередодні пандемії, ми відкрили для себе американський ринок. Наступний слайд, будь ласка. Тут два слова про мене, що в мене великий досвід роботи в різних компаніях. Я працював як у власному бізнесі, так і на посадах в міжнародних корпораціях, в різних секторах. Зараз це виробнича компанія і розвиток зовнішніх ринків. Наступний слайд, будь ласка. І я хочу вам розказати пару слів, як будувати свою експортну стратегію і як вийти на американський ринок, і наведу приклади з власного життя, з власного досвіду. Перш за все, вам потрібно зрозуміти, що ви виробляєте, для чого ви виробляєте або надаєте які послуги, і спланувати вашу експортну стратегію, скласти ваш план на 1, 3, 5 років. Ви маєте чітко уявляти, чого ви прагнете. Якщо ви самі це не зрозумієте і не зможете довести це до вашої команди, то дуже важко буде реалізувати ваші мрії. Але коли ваша мрія чітко артикульована, коли ви з командою розробили покроковий план розвитку вашої компанії, це може бути і маленька компанія, і велика компанія, але принципи роботи завжди однакові. Чітке розуміння власного продукту і розуміння тих цілей, до яких ви прагнете. Наступний слайд, будь ласка. І самий гарний спосіб – це разом з вашою командою, з вашими однодумцями розробити експортну стратегію. І до розробки цієї експортної стратегії важливо залучати тих фахівців, з якими ви можете поспілкуватися. Це можуть ваші знайомі бути бізнесмени, це може бути Американська торгова палата, це може бути Офіс розвитку експорту, різні фахівці. Це участь в програмі для того, щоб зробити експортну стратегію вашої компанії. Залучайте якомога більше різних фахівців для того, щоб подивитися на вашу ідею з різних сторін. Тому що кожен бізнесмен має власний досвід, і він має унікальні можливості зробити вам якісь критику ваших ідей, додаткові ринки збуту, додаткові аспекти, як можна презентувати ваш товар. Наступний слайд, будь ласка. Які існують джерела інформації, бази даних і компанії, організації, з ким можна співпрацювати для того, щоб побудувати вашу експортну стратегію? Як я вже казав, Дія Бізнес Експорт – це сьогодні бувший Експорт Промоушен Офіс. Вони дуже допомагають в організації міжнародних виставок, так як і USAID фінансують участь в виставках. Є також Американська палата, яка сьогодні організувала нам цей захід, і спілкування з фахівцями цих організацій і з членами організацій. Це вам надає доступ до унікальних знань. І також звертаю увагу, окрема тема LinkedIn. Це для американського ринку, я думаю, ну, принаймні в нашій сфері, це одне з головних джерел надходження інформації про тих людей, які нам потрібні. Наступний слайд, будь ласка. Окремо два слова про шляхи збуту своєї продукції на зарубіжних ринках. Це участь в тендерних закупівлях. Так як Україна долучилася до системи міжнародних закупівельних процедур GPA і уклала угоди про зону вільної торгівлі з Європейським Союзом, з Канадою і Сполученими Штатами, то наші компанії можуть мати можливість приймати участь в європейських тендерних закупівлях і в американських також. Це дуже великий ринок, там дуже багато грошей, це складний етап розвитку компанії, але якщо ви поставите для себе таку ціль, то вивчаючи навіть нормативні документи тендерів для різних країн, для різних континентів, ви зрозумієте, як вам треба працювати, які правила гри на цьому ринку. В нас був досвід роботи в Європі, в Сполучених Штатах в нас є велика амбіційна ціль стати постачальником американської армії. Наступний слайд, будь ласка. Також хочу зазначити дуже великий вплив онлайн-освіти. Сучасні технології дозволяють нам приймати участь в різних навчальних процесах, і це на сьогоднішній день не є дорогим і не є складним. Наприклад, я вчився в бізнес-школі Вартон, це номер 1 MBA освіти. Я вчився в Мічиганському університеті, були курси по проведенню переговорного процесу. Тобто через ці платформи ви можете брати як безкоштовні курси і навчатися у самих крутих викладачів, які є в світі. Плюс до того, спілкуючись зі своїми одногрупниками в цих учбових закладах, ви складаєте власне коло спілкування серед бізнесменів з різних країн. І в подальшому я скажу, наскільки це важливо. Наступний слайд, будь ласка. Тобто, що є головним фактором успіху в сучасному бізнесі? Це person to person. Тобто, всі угоди укладаються людьми. І ми маємо націлювати наш фокус уваги саме на персоналі. Вони приймають рішення, чи вести з нами бізнес, чи купувати наші товари, чи укладати з нами угоди. Наступний слайд, будь ласка. І тому вся діяльність має фокусуватися на досягненні вашої адресної книги. З ким ви можете спілкуватися, кому ви можете подзвонити за порадою, до кого ви можете звернутися в американській палаті за підтримкою, за вирішенням складних проблем. В нас було в останні роки дуже велика кількість проблем, які неможливо вирішити. Але, наприклад, з допомогою дипломатичної служби, американського посольства і конкретних людей в цих організаціях ми вирішували завдачі, котрі неможливо вирішити. Якщо буде час, я розкажу. Давай далі, будь ласка. І тут звучить музика «Welcome to the Hotel California». Це об'єкт, це готель, з яким ми відкрили Сполучені Штати Америки. Джеф Майкл, наш великий друг тепер, який співпрацює з USAID як консультант, відкрив для нас американський ринок. І це перший готель, який ми зробили напередодні, підписали контракт напередодні ковіду. І в нас було дуже багато великих труднощів для того, щоб виробити меблі, доставити меблі, відправити нашу власну команду монтажників, отримати візи, при тому, що посольство і консульство, візовий центр був закритий, і візи нікому не видавали, але ми зробили це. І на сьогоднішній день цей готель, ми можемо з гордістю сказати, що вже пройшло 2 роки його функціонування. Цей готель є взірцем готельного бізнесу штату Каліфорнія. Він найкращий готель в своєму регіоні. В нього ціни в 2 рази вищі, ніж в конкурентів. І заповнюваність цього готелю під 90-100%. Тому власник готелю, мені буквально нещодавно ми спілкувалися, сказав, що це дуже успішний кейс. Ми вже підписали угоду на другий готель з цим власником і маємо дуже великі плани по розвитку меблевого бізнесу в Сполучених Штатах. І в нас зараз діють контракти в Сполучених Штатах. І є різні плани на впровадження комплексних продуктів, які ми будемо пропонувати українські меблярі будуть пропонувати американським клієнтам. І також ми поставили собі за мету участь у великій виставці в сфері госпіталіті, готельного бізнесу в Нью-Йорку, на Манхеттені в кінці цього року. Я сподіваюся, що завдяки співпраці з USAID і з всіми присутніми тут, за підтримки наших дипломатів, ми зможемо це зробити. Це дуже велика планка, але я сподіваюся, що наш стенд і наша компанія взірве ринок, і ми знаємо, що робити. І я закликаю всіх учасників семінару мріяти про велике, не думати, що є якісь перепони, тому що любі перепони можна подолати. А жіночий бізнес зараз настільки актуальний, що чоловіки не можуть виїхати на виставку або поїхати в Каліфорнію, підписати контракт, а жінки зараз можуть взяти реванш за всі роки.
Дякуємо вам, Артеме. Дякуємо вам. Ми маємо вже рухатись до іншої частини, але на цій ноті дійсно такі оптимістичні.
Дякую
Ми
за
хочемо
увагу.
побажати вам успіхів, обов'язково, щоб ви досягли того пріоритету, тієї цілі, яку ви поставили. Колеги, маємо рухатись далі до наступної частини. Ми уважно слідкуємо за чатом. Будь ласка, якщо є питання, надсилайте. Ми будемо пробувати в кінці обов'язково їх озвучити, або ж кожен спікер ділиться контактами для того, щоб можна було питання якісь уточнити чи порадитись. Тому ще раз, Джестіна, Стефані, Тетяна, Бенедикт, Анастасія, Артем, вам щиро дякуємо за натхнення, за дуже практичні, корисні поради. І переходимо до наступного сегменту. Я дуже рада якраз представити Кадіджу Газі, керівницю відділу партнерства в Draper Ecosystem. Кадіджа, we are absolutely thrilled to have you with us today and can't wait to master pitching and marketing together.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I just want to make sure that I'm on time, so I'll just set a quick timer for myself. Polylogue basically means that, a speech delivered by many people, how dialogue is between two people. The movement of polylogue is so more and more people are able to tell their stories better. They're able to use their diversity to the full advantage, and are, able to leverage the transforming technologies that we are seeing in our times. Could go to next slide. A little bit about myself. My name is Khadija Ghazi. I was born and raised in Pakistan, and my mother was a journalist. I went to school for journalism as well. It was a very, very difficult time. The media was extremely controlled. There would be strikes all the time. It was an extremely dangerous place to be. The only way we were able to connect with other people and understand their problems and learn was through exchange of stories. We would accompany my mother on a lot of her journalism assignments. And that's where the whole idea of how important storytelling is and how it really connects us to the land that we are native to, the businesses around us, the people around us, the ideas that are coming out. Next slide, please. Why is storytelling important for your business? There are many brands out there. It's your story, how you tell your story of the brand that helps you make that noise in that crowd. And then being able to build that emotional connection to that brand, increase loyalty. When people are able to connect with you, they're able to remember your story. That's how they're able to become loyal to your brand. And authenticity. Authenticity has become so important over this period of time. There was a time when Instagram was full of beautiful pictures. Now it's not. If you look at advertisement right now, the pressure is more on how authentic one can be. The stories that we tell have to communicate the unique value that you bring in. Go to the next slide. So next few slides, I'm going to tell you a bunch of stories of a few brands. Tom Shoes, the founder, went to Argentina and he saw all these kids who were not wearing shoes, and he started a shoe drive. And eventually he started creating these canvas shoes. The whole idea is Tom's is, it kind of stands for tomorrow. And if you buy a pair of shoes from Tom, they donate a pair of shoes. And that really got people involved, because when you are wearing Toms and you're walking around, it's not just a pair of shoes that you're wearing. It's a statement that you're making. When people look at you like, oh, you're doing something good, and people want to be part of that good. People want to be part of that movement. Go to the next slide. Unique identity. Warby Parker, the founder, was on a trip, lost the glasses, and glasses, unfortunately, in this part of the world cost a lot. If I was to lose these glasses, I would be paying close to $700 to get them back. These are Warby Parker, so they're $95. So how they realize that there is a gap in the market where these plastic glasses can easily be produced for much cheaper. They took a flight to Asia, started manufacturing their own glasses, and it's glasses for cheaper, but it's also the service that it comes with. And again, it became a whole movement. It became their unique identity. It was cheap glasses, but with great value. In a market where nobody really thought that could be shaken, glasses were always expensive. You would go get your test done, get these glasses. Now you can walk into a beautiful store, have a conversation with someone, and get glasses for a reasonable price. Next slide, please. Glossier. How Glossier started was through a blog post. Emily started a fashion blog post. She would interview a lot of people, and then she created this brand. Glossier has a unique value proposition in a sense that instead of talking about makeup, instead of talking about looking good, what it emphasizes on it is self-love. How do you take care of yourself, and how are you unique? How is your skin unique? Enhancing on what you have, or feeling good about yourself instead of trying to look like another person. And that became their unique value proposition. And this particular brand gathered almost a cult following among Gen Z and millennials. Next slide, please. What I would like you all to do is, if you have a paper pen right now or later, write 3 goals of your brand story. What do you want to achieve? What does the success look like you to make more money, to get more people to visit your social media, for people to download your content, for people to give referrals? What are the 3 goals that you have for your brand? And then start building up your story from there on. The next slide. Why should you tell a strong story? It increases the recognition. People are able to recognize your brand because stories are easier to remember and they stick with you. It helps you differentiate between your competitors. There are a lot of people selling shoes, for Tom's to come in and start selling shoes, or for Glossier to come and start selling their products. It was not the product, it's the story behind it that has a much bigger impact. Next slide. Patagonia started off as a rock climbing gear brand, and they eventually went into, outerwear. And it is one of those brands which discourages you from buying more. The whole idea is make use of what you have. So if you buy a Patagonia jacket and it rips or something happens, you can take it back to them and they will fix it for you. And the kind of movement Patagonia has started of, being more environmentally friendly, that's how people connect with it. So when you see somebody wearing Patagonia, yes, it's an expensive brand, but you see this person is supporting a movement, the whole idea of upcycling. Next slide, please. Customer engagement. Rothy's is one of the brands. They make shoes, and how they connect with their customers is very unique. It's the interaction with the customers that makes that brand. They have 3D printed shoes. Again, the example, it's not the product, it's the story and how you're engaging your customer with your product. Next slide. Bombas is a socks company. And their theory is, again, you know, you buy a socks, they give away a pair of socks. It's the effective marketing, it's the messaging, it's how they're putting out their message, be better. Again, it's just a pair of socks, it's the story, and it's the mock. And when you start telling when you define what your goals are, and then you have a story that goes along with it, and that story is authentic, it just becomes consistent with all your marketing. Next slide, please. How do you craft a strong brand story? It needs to be authentic, there needs to be strong visuals, and it needs to be simple. It needs to be simple enough for people to remember. It needs to be simple enough that it can be consistent. And go to next slide, please. This one I find really, really interesting. She's a single mom who started, you know, during COVID. She did not have a partner. She had 4 kids, and she was like, oh, what can I do best? And she's like, you know what? I'm going to coach people on business. That's what I know. And she took that $1,200 stimulus check that she got from the government, and she started up, you know, she bought a domain, she set up a website, she started making these videos. That $1,200 turned into $2 million. And there are enough business courses out there. People do not, you know, there are Coursera, there are other websites that offer really good courses. It's when people were looking at this girl sitting on her couch with 4 kids around her, and when she was talking about business, and when she was talking about starting a business, when she was talking about raising money, you know, different opportunities, it was easy for people to connect to, because people were like, you know, if she can do it, we can too. Being authentic in the way you tell your story, being authentic with the person you are and represent your brand is extremely important. And more than ever, it's now that people are looking for it. Next slide, please. Muji is a Japanese brand. The whole idea is their packaging is very simple. There is no branding. And the whole idea of the brand is just easy to remember. Less packaging, simple products, clean design. Next slide. When Airbnb started, the whole emphasis was taking pictures. You know, if you don't have good pictures of your place, you'll not be able to really promote. So they have started this thing where if you sign up to become a host, they send a professional photographer to you who takes these pictures for you, and that has dramatically increased in how people book the places. So visuals and multimedia has a huge impact on how you tell the story, how you represent your brand, and specifically nowadays, photography that is produced, the content that is produced by your customers. You know, if you're selling jewelry, or if you're selling bags, asking your customer to generate that content for you, giving some kind of guidance to them on how they can generate content, but having that emphasis on visuals and letting visuals tell a lot about your story is extremely important. Next slide, please. How can diversity benefit your brand story? Diversity brings credibility. It pulls in the audience. It pulls in the customers because they are able to connect with you better. Various experiences that people have had all come together, and it makes your brand more compelling. Can I go to the next slide? Diversity and inclusion. So Old Navy is a brand which has really embraced it. The way they market, the way they hire, the way they tell their story. It's all about women or people of all ages, all sizes, all colors are welcome. And that's how the brand has really come up. So when you think of diversity, when you think of inclusion, different body sizes, it's Old Navy. It's affordable, it's inclusive, it's diverse. I feel like they have done a pretty good job with it. The next one is a short video, if you could play. I believe it's 3 minutes. Okay, let's skip that. But it's a always video. If you get a chance, please go and watch it. It talks about, it kind of starts off with, asking men to run, little boys to run. And when they started running, they do this funny run because they're running like a girl. But when they take these little girls and they ask them to run, they just run as fast as they can. So always, instead of, focusing on selling sanitary napkins, they're selling the idea of women empowerment. So when you're telling a story, when you're selling something, it's less about the product and more about the idea that you're supporting, the idea that you're pushing through your brand. Next slide, please. So one exercise that I really like to do is think about the background of your story. Think about your own background and take some time out and write it down. What is unique? What is historic about what you're doing? Why did you start it at the first place? And when people buy your products or buy your services, why do they do that? Why don't they go and buy your competitor? Take those ideas and build that story using that background. Could I do another slide? How can small businesses leverage technology? There's so much out there right now. ChatGPT, I feel, even though it's getting a lot of criticism, I feel is a great resource. It really helps you speed things up. You're writing your marketing content. You have to build, you have to write, emails. You have to send quick responses to your customers, to your investors. Plan once and plan again and repeat. Build up a plan on, for example, 20%. I'm going to invest 20% in technology and how the website is looking or how the social media is looking. If I'm doing something about supply chain, if I'm bringing any other kind of technology into it, put a bigger plan and then, invest 20% of it year over year. Rise to the cloud, use the cloud technology, store all your data, store all your information online, go mobile. As much as you could get people to use their mobile to purchase your service, to purchase your product, to connect with you, we all are spending a lot more time on mobile. So whenever you're thinking of technology for your small business, go mobile. Online presence, that's where people are going to find you. That's how, local can go global. Socialize, connect with your audience, engage with them, find out what they're doing. There's so many Discord communities, Instagram, wherever your audience is. Collaborate to win. Collaborate with other businesses who are either in complementing. So for example, a simple example would be there's a street with a bunch of stores. You're like, hey, can we come together and do some kind of event or sales over the weekend? And when you do it together, you are able to pull a lot more people. Similarly, online, if you can collaborate with a designer, or if you could collaborate with an influencer, you collaborate with another business to see how you can push your messaging together. And I believe that's the last slide after this. And among yourselves, in messaging, if you all could put in some of the resources that you absolutely love to use for others to see. Canva, again, is great for small businesses. It has really sped things up. ChatGPT is a good resource to leverage. And HubSpot, a CRM, when you're making sales, when you're connecting with your clients, it definitely helps you stay super organized. And other than that, HubSpot also has a very interesting sales strategy. So gone are the days when you go door to door selling your products. Now, by the time somebody has come to your website, they have already made up their mind on if they're going to buy or not. They have already done their research. So what HubSpot does is they develop a lot of content to help the people who will potentially use their services. So for example, business BD people are usually the ones who use HubSpot, and they have multiple resources: how to cold call, how to send emails, and they have all these templates out there. So they're first helping the people, and then those people are coming to buy their services. And the last slide. If you want me to help out with your storytelling, if there's I've been part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Silicon Valley for some years now. Please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to come and do one-on-one workshop or just help you with what you already have. Thank you so much.
Khadija, a massive thank you for such an amazing and practical presentation. I'm getting text from meeting participants. Wow, thank you so much. Колеги, в нас сьогодні ще є також анонс від учасниці попередньої зустрічі. Це Кейт Інслер, генеральна директорка компанії TV Marketplace. Kate, we are absolutely delighted to welcome you today. And we know that you have an announcement for us today.
I do. I'm so happy to be with you. Thank you. And I'm a little bit intimidated being last of all those fantastic presentations, this afternoon, but I'm so thrilled to be with you. And I want to tell you quickly a little bit about the W Marketplace. And I think it is the perfect thing to follow, because the W Marketplace is actually, if you look at our logo and it says the economic engine for women, we are an e-commerce sales channel for women-owned businesses. And so when I think about all of those brand stories that we just heard, that is our story. During the pandemic, I started to see that women were suffering disproportionately and everyone was online shopping. And I can't help but think that there is a way to redirect some of that online spending to women-owned businesses that could make a tangible change in our global economy. And so we launched the W Marketplace as a result of that, and now have a national sales channel with over 500 businesses and about 7,000 products and growing. And so our story is that brand story and is that very meaningful. We are in business to support women entrepreneurs and to give them a place that has a marketplace meant for them and servicing them. So I'm very excited to tell you all about it. So a little bit about what I want to talk about today is that marketplace and the fact that we are for women by women, and that we're very specific in terms of, we talked about and we heard today how women businesses outperform. Women also in the US make over 80% of the consumer purchase decisions. And so we think we're in that sweet spot that can help you expand into the US very quickly. And so from a tactical level, can you change the slide? So from a tactical level, we want to help you take advantage of this huge e-commerce market in the US. And so what we talk about a lot is really knowing who that customer is. And if you have a product that can be sold online, product or service that can be delivered online, it's really knowing who your target is and focusing on that target, which I think that you heard a lot this morning, and look to where that target lives and how we can be specific about it. And so that is something that the W Marketplace does. We target women. We know who our target is, and we call her Alicia. And I'm very happy to follow up and talk to you all about who Alicia is and what her brand preferences are, where she lives, and how we target her. We talk about really that storytelling, which you heard in terms of your product, and we elevate women's businesses to tell their story. We call them her story. And what we do is provide a platform focused on women entrepreneurs that is targeted that way. We invest in our infrastructure, we invest in our marketing, and we invest in SEO type activities so that you as an entrepreneur can really focus on your product and services, and we can provide the container and the sales engine for that. And so that is the partnership. And then we also work on choosing the right channel and talk to you about, you heard from Amazon this morning, Etsy, having your own website. There are a lot of things to consider. There's cost, there's brand alignment, there's ease of doing business with people. And so we really, talk about that for the W Marketplace with women entrepreneurs and have built our infrastructure to really service you. And so just a little bit about that, but the most exciting thing I want to tell you today is on the next slide. So what we have looked at is we have heard about a lot of resources, both from last month's seminar to this webcast, to talk about, you know, who has resources and how you enter markets and how you extend. And so one of the things that I want to do is really make this tangible for you and to create a pilot program that allows you to easily come into the US market and sell on an e-commerce platform, our platform, and give you training, support, logistics support from all the people you've heard here. And so I'm proposing we do a pilot program to collect our resources and actually give you a tangible place to help. So I will be sending each of you a link to a survey to talk about, you know, where your business is, if you have products, what your situation is. And we are hoping to pull 20 to 25 applicants from that survey and create a pilot program that will give you the resources to come into the US quickly and expand your market. And so please, I ask that you fill out that survey when you see it, and I'll send it today. And so you'll see it, and we will come back to you as we pull together. You know, we have, as I said, lots of amazing presentations today with lots of amazing resources from AmCham to the Department of Commerce, all of them. And so we're so excited to pull that together. And so the last slide is just my contact details. I am very happy to talk to anyone who wants to talk about the W Marketplace, wants to talk more about the pilot program. You'll see that survey. And so I appreciate it. So thank you so much. I know that we're short on time. So
Kate, we are extremely grateful for this amazing opportunity. We'll be happy to share information with our meeting participants, making sure that everyone is aware about the initiative. And meanwhile, we have a couple of minutes for questions. Колеги переключають на українську. В нас є декілька хвилин ще до запитань. Будь ласка, надсилайте їх у чат для того, щоб ми максимально використали час з користю, який нас залишається. Але я би хотіла запитати, питання поставити, Артеме, вам та Анастасії, таке дві питання. Якщо говорити про одну річ, або одну якість, або що допомогло досягти успіху, таку ключову пораду до наших учасниць. Ladies first, Анастасія, прошу.
Да, звичайно. Дякую. Ну, насправді, я б говорила сьогодні, важко говорити про одне щось, але я б говорила дійсно це про менторство. Я зазначала про це в своєму спічі, але це дійсно те, що дуже допомагає. Я думаю, сьогоднішня зустріч – це якраз також про це поділитися інформацією з іншими жінками, з програмами, які є, і от якраз ті можливості саме допомоги і просування для твого продукту, тому що це люди, які вже пройшли шлях, це люди, які мають цей досвід з приводу ринку, індустрії, хардвер, це може бути різне. І дійсно це допомагає вибудувати стратегію в тому, що робимо ми. І на даний момент це те, що дуже сильно допомагало. Знову згадаю EO Business Incubator, який розпочав для нас оцей шлях, і продовжуючи до Select USA, до інших ініціатив, які нам зустрічаються зараз, вже будучи в США, маючи офіс в США. І це дуже-дуже допомагає, що є багато ініціатив саме для жінок.
Дякую дуже. Артеме,
використовуйте
ваша
це.
порада. Дякую дуже. Що би ви сказали, на чому зосередитись одна річ?
Я б зазначив, що головна річ – це знайомства, особисті знайомства з людьми і спілкування з людьми з різних сфер. І ти можеш отримати не тільки там ділову корисну інформацію, якийсь досвід, бізнес-досвід. І чим більше в тебе в твоєму ком'юніті, в твоєму оточенні успішних, гарних, цікавих людей, тим краще буде йти твій бізнес і твій рух вперед. Ну і в будь-якому випадку це круто, коли ти спілкуєшся з цікавими людьми. І заради цього і бізнес треба вести, Тобто гроші заробляти – це тільки інструмент для отримання задоволення від життя. А задоволення від життя – це спілкування з людьми з цікавими. Тому набувайте контактів, знайомтесь з людьми, будьте проактивні в цьому процесі, приходьте, стукайтесь у двері в любі і знайомтесь з людьми.
Дякую вам дуже. Ну, а ми, як Американська торгівельна палата в Україні, будемо раді допомогти і підтримати. And I have a question to Justina. Justina, can you tell us more when is the next program released? And is there any advice specifically for female entrepreneurs? I just can't see whether Justina is with.
Are you asking Justina?
Yes, I'm asking Justina when the next program starts and whether like you have any specific recommendations for female entrepreneurs to get successfully enrolled.
Great. Yeah, great question. So we have next program is actually starting in about 2 weeks. And then please check our website for the program that's going to be starting in the fall. The applications will be coming out probably this summer, maybe July. So please check for that. And then the kind of best applications are the ones that are, you know, very detailed, provide a lot of concrete information, because the people that we select are people who are really doing the work, the decision makers. So as much as the applicants can provide that information and detail that, that will help us in the selection process.
Thank you so much. And I would like to encourage everyone to look and check the website and to make sure that deadlines are not missed. Thank you very much, Justina.
Thank you.
And Тетяно, до вас питання буде з вашого досвіду. Яка от така ключова річ для того, щоб успішно потрапити, скористатись можливостями програми? Ще Тетяна з нами.
Дякую дуже. Дякую дуже за запитання, Тетяна. І чудове запитання. Я думаю, що в першу чергу треба якомога більше слідкувати за всілякими можливостями, які пропонуються. Бути підписаним на наші ресурси, на ресурси інших програм USAID, тому що, нагадаю, ми тільки одна з великої кількості програм USAID, які працюють в різноманітних сферах і таргетують різноманітні українські підприємства, чи то в енергетиці, чи то в сільському господарстві, чи то в секторі охорони здоров'я і так далі. І дивитися, оцінювати себе критично, якщо є якісь питання, не боятися перепитувати і готуватися до подачі заявок на грантові програми, готуватися до інтерв'ю, якщо вони проходять, і все буде успішно.
Дякую дуже, Тетяно, дякую. Колеги, ще раз нагадую, що можете своє питання поставити, надіславши його просто у чат. Я буду рада озвучити. А тим часом я маю питання ще до Хадіжі. Хадіжа, what would be your most important advice while building a personal and professional brand for female entrepreneurs? I'm checking whether Khadija with us.
Yeah. Sorry, could I please request that question be repeated?
Absolutely. What will be your, like, probably the most important advice in terms of building personal and professional brand? The core advice.
Absolutely. Do not wait. You know, if you have an idea, put it out there. Women tend to be more self-critical, unfortunately, even though they should be way more confident. We all know they're far more capable. So please do not be self-critical. You have an idea, go for it. Anybody, any news feed, any social media, any website that you go look at it today, and then go look at it 5 years ago or even a few months ago, it will not be as good. It has to evolve. So please be less self-critical, put yourself out there and be authentic. People love authenticity. Those 3 things.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Khadija. So we have a recipe, honestly, but now I have a final question for Kate. Kate, what to avoid? What would be your advice? One key things to avoid on a path to success.
From my perspective, I think one of the things you want to do is focus and really understand where you're going. You know, one of the hardest things for entrepreneurs, and especially women entrepreneurs, is to focus on who their target is and not to say, well, everyone could use my product or my service. It really is focus, and it will expand from there. So I would say the key, what not to do is something for everyone. The key is making the hard decision to say, this is who my core target is.
Thank you so much. So I think that our today's meeting participants equipped with very solid and strong advice. And I think on this note, переходжу на українську, колеги, я зараз перевіряю чат, щоб пересвідчити, що ми нічого не пропустили. Так, наші всі питання, ті, що озвучували, ставили прохання про посилання, уточнення, ми всі адресували. І на цій ноті я хочу перш за все подякувати вам, учасницям. Для нас велика честь за те, що ви сьогоднішній час провели разом з нами. Ми розуміємо, звичайно, що підприємництво – це нелегка подорож, і для досягнення успіху якраз сьогодні ми почули від наших спікерів та спікерок, які ключові поради, але тут, звичайно, що дуже важливо, також любов до своєї справи. Тому ми дуже сподіваємося, що всю інформацію, яку сьогодні ви отримали, вона буде корисною і дасть змогу досягнути результату. And I would like to express our sincere appreciation to our speakers and panelists for such an engaging discussion. A massive thank you for sharing your knowledge, leadership, passion and inspiration. It is much appreciated. Dear Agnes, Tanner, Anastasia, Yulia, a massive thank you and the entire Department of Commerce team for this amazing initiative and helping to put together such an insightful discussion. And once again, we're extremely grateful to the US government and the US Embassy in Kyiv for all your support and for everything you do for Ukraine. Я щиро дякую перекладачам за вашу роботу. Світлана, Петро, величезне дякую вам. І величезне дякую колегам з ЕМЧем, Юліані, Ользі, Олександру за всі зусилля, докладені до організації цих подій. Агнес?
Thank you so much from the Department of Commerce. We greatly thank you for joining this webinar series. We are looking forward to organizing more of those sessions, which we find really help and change women's lives. And so look forward to another opportunities to join us. We will be advertising them. And from the Department of Commerce in Washington, D.C., we thank you and we are looking forward to seeing you. Thank you, Tatiana.
Дякую дуже. Успіхів. We are here for you. Ми тут для вас. Якщо будуть виникати уточнюючі питання чи потреба в додатковій інформації, звертайтесь без вагань. До зв'язку. Дякуємо вам. Успіху всьому.